Your environment is everything. Now, you might have heard of that quote or that saying before, where if you change your environment, you change your reality. You shift your environment, you shift your circumstances, something along those lines, right? And I was in that same boat, saw it as a cool quote, didn't really think much of it, right? Because I thought to myself, well, obviously, if you shift your environment, you change as a person. Especially with me, when I moved from Vietnam, right? Was born and raised there, then moved over to Australia in the most Australian city probably in the whole of Australia, which is Kalgoorlie, right? It was just straight desert, heat, um, red dirt, the whole package, right? So then I had to really quickly adapt, quickly learn the language, the culture, and all that. So obviously I changed as a person. So then I was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. But then when I really deeply reflected over the past, I would say 2 weeks, I've only been surrounded by people that I want to surround myself with. Now, what do I mean by that? I've very recently transitioned into the remote sales space, and I dropped a massive, massive bag on my mentor, but it's paying off. It's whatever. But once you're onboarded onto his mentorship, you get introduced into a group where of like-minded people where they want to achieve the same goal as you, and the age could range from 18, 19, around my age, to 30s, 20s, just older people. But the common denominator is that they all want the same thing, and that is to be successful in making money online, having ultimate freedom, and to be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, with whoever they want. The main thing in his whole program is not about the sales skills, all right? He says opportunity matters more than the skill, right? When you're starting out, obviously the skill is going to matter because you want to you want to be good at your craft to actually get paid. But when starting out, businesses are willing to invest in your education so that you get better at the skill. So how do we find these opportunities? And he said in one of his modules, networking is the key. Now, I've always, kind of looked down, or I guess I was more insecure to networking because on the back of my mind, I've always had this limiting belief of like, I'm just not worthy enough, not valuable enough to, be networked with. And so that's why I never really did it. I've only stuck with the same group of people, therefore, being stuck in an echo chamber of the same ideas getting circulated around, and then, not really growing. But then when I really expose myself into this community, giving value to get value, and reaching out to the people who are much, much more ahead of me in the journey, right? Making 25K, 10K per month. And, networking with the people that joined in at around the same time as me. And again, there's a clear common denominator, is that they want to be successful in this space. They will do whatever it takes to get them from point A to where they're at now to point B and beyond to where they want to go, right? And, they've always said the same thing. Connor's right. He's always right. He will get you from 0 to 10 to 15 to 20,000 per month. And if you want to go beyond, right, then you could invest in other mentors, invest in other trainings. But He will get you from 0 to 20K. And hearing that over and over again made me realize the power of network and, your environment. Because one of my best friends actually not moved, but he's kind of traveling, right? His name's Kashi. He also has a YouTube channel, which I will plug down below. He's traveling the world doing his stuff, still being the best top closer in his company. But he always, we hop on daily calls, almost daily, but we hop on these calls and he always says to me, Bao, you got to get out of Perth. You got to do anything in your power to get out of Perth, because once he got out of Perth and, into Thailand, he just met different people. He tells me stories about the people he was living with through his network, and he talks to them about me, how I want to get into the space, and now that I'm in the same group as them, we're actively exchanging value. I'm constantly asking questions, and then they're just really, really supportive. He keeps telling me these stories of like, bro, like you hear stuff that, let's say, Andrew Tate says online, right? Where there's real femininity in the world, right? And then you just sort of brush it off because, yeah, sure, femininity exists. Of course it does. But then once you shift your environment and go to another country and actually see it in practice, then you just start to, your standards just change. Like, that's what he's told me. He's like, bro, I thought a 10 out of 10, let's say in Perth, was a 10 out of 10. But then once I went to Thailand and now I'm in India, that same 10 out of 10 is probably like a 6. Not because of her looks, but because of her attitude, personality, just everything. And he told me about the quality of life, the treatment that you get in these countries, and just the overall culture, the whole vibe of the situation is just, it's just a lot different. Where I'm at right now, I'm still surrounded by the same people, right? Still surrounded by my family, which which still impose the same limiting beliefs onto me, and it's just overall negative energy. Surrounded by the same friends, this physical location, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I love my friends, I love my family to death, but then there comes to a point where you want to grow and you want to pursue something that is out of the normal, and that your normal friends and your family cannot comprehend, because this is a very recent phenomena where you could just work from anywhere online and just earn money that way. So yeah, that's where he told me. He said that once he got out of Perth, out of the same echo chambers, he just experienced a whole new world of like-minded people, and that he actually connected with one of his online friends who is actually killing it in the space. He's on track to doing, I think, 25K USD per month. He's on 4 different offers. Landed like 20 interviews. I'm pretty sure he closed all 20 interviews, sorry. And then like he just, gave away the offers just like that, because he just could. And that really motivated me to work harder, because the money is out there, the opportunities are out there, the connections are out there, and I just gotta get out of my comfort zone, perhaps move to another country, or get out of this bedroom, and yeah, just experience a whole another side of life that I've never experienced before.